Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more latest news. So on this current video, I am going to give you some latest news regarding Mauricio Pochettino. Do you think he would be the right candidate, at Manchester United to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Because obviously, there is a lot of Man United fans that are demanding Mauricio Pochettino in. Also, just going to go through today's results review. Obviously, Arsenal join at home to Southampton 2-2. Obviously, Unai Reino now should be sacked by Arsenal. Burnley winning away at Watford, by 3 goals to nil. Leicester winning away at Brighton by 2 goals to nil. Liverpool winning away at Crystal Palace by 2 goals to 1. 2 goals to 1. Tottenham, of course, beating West Ham by 3 goals to 2. Obviously, that was the earlier kickoff. Obviously, Jose Mourinho getting his first win in his first game as a Tottenham manager in that. And, my own perception on that, I think, is that, I think Jose Mourinho will succeed at Tottenham in that. Because overall, Jose Mourinho is a very, very good manager. He's won 25 major honours in his career. He's won 25 major honours in his career in that. Obviously, he did enjoy a 2.5 year spell with us, but obviously, I give the variety of reasons, why his 2.5 year tenure at Man United, didn't work out. Because obviously, he had bad disputes with the board, he had bad disputes with the top players. The board weren't backing the signings that I wanted to recommend to the football club last summer. But Jose Mourinho did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season with Man United, and he did spend a substantial amount at the club. He spent, was it 400 million or just under 400 million pounds on 11 players. But yeah, he's an absolute fantastic manager. Obviously, Mourinho. He's under contract with Tottenham until the end of the 2022-23 season. He's on around £15 million a year. This got confirmed when he got appointed as Tottenham manager, which was on Wednesday. He got appointed as Tottenham's manager. So he's actually on almost double, than what Mauricio Pochettino, was currently on. Jose Mourinho also had 2 spells with Chelsea. Obviously won 3 Premier Leagues with them. He also won the FA Cup. He also won the Champions League with Porto and Inter Milan. So I think he does fit Tottenham. I think he does fit Tottenham's philosophy fantastically well. But obviously he's inheriting an average squad. So I do believe that Mourinho in January will make further more investment in Tottenham's squad. But yeah, so Tottenham did win by 3 goals to 2 against West Ham. Norwich won away at Everton by 2 goals to nil. So regarding the results today, obviously we've now dropped to 10th in the league, as you all know. But yeah, so Mauricio Pochettino, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has given his overarching view on Mauricio Pochettino. Obviously he said it's a shame that, of course, he lost his job. Obviously, it had been announced. On a Tuesday night, which was obviously earlier on this week, that Mauricio Pochettino had been sacked by Tottenham. I think Tottenham had come out with a public statement to explain the variety of reasons why he had been sacked, because obviously Tottenham have enjoyed a very difficult start to the season, and I think now Mourinho could rejuvenate them. But prior to their game today against West Ham, Tottenham were sitting 14th in the league, so they weren't in the commanding position that they currently should be in. But Pochettino, like I said, I think is totally a comparison to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think obviously he's a lot more experienced than Solskjaer as well, Premier League proven. But obviously, my own element of concern I have got about Mauricio Pochettino that he hasn't won out in terms of silverware. But he did enjoy 5 good years with Tottenham. Obviously in his first full season he progressed Tottenham to the League Cup final. He also guided them to 2 third place finishes. He also got them runners up in the Premier League in 2017, and also got them to their first ever Champions League final last season. So you got to admire, what he did do for Tottenham, and it's actually an actual surprised that, he was sacked by Tottenham, but he did enjoy 5 years there. I also thought before he was at Tottenham, though, he had a great short tenure with Southampton. Obviously, before he was at Southampton, he was with Espanyol. So he actually began his managerial career in 2009, did Pochettino. So he's been managing now for just over a decade. But, Solskjaer does believe, despite the sacking of Pochettino, that, he doesn't feel no extra pressure at Man United. He also gave his overarching view on Jose Mourinho, did Solskjaer, and he said it's actually good to see him back. It's good news for the Premier League, but he said it doesn't really change regarding himself at Man United. But Pochettino, like I said, he seems to have a really, really good philosophy. But Man United isn't the only team he's linked with Pochettino. Don't forget he's been talks about him, possibly going to Bayern Munich. There's also been talks about Arsenal getting him. I think also recently Barcelona invented the race. But Pochettino is managerless at the moment, but I don't think he will be managerless for too long. But obviously, reflecting back, before we recommended Solskjaer in, and after the sacking of Jose Mourinho in December of last year, Mauricio Pochettino was our primary candidate, but obviously, we didn't end up, getting Mauricio Pochettino because we didn't end up getting him because, I think at that time he was reluctant to leave Tottenham, and he also put into the equation that Daniel Levy is a hard negotiator, so, just wanted to remind you of that. But I'll give you I think our preference was Solskjaer. The couple of reasons why I think, our preference was Solskjaer, because also, obviously it was a cheaper solution with Solskjaer. We didn't really pay that much in compensation, to recommend him in from Mould. Plus, Solskjaer does know the traditions and that of the football club, because he was a great long-serving player for 11 years. And plus, the time he was in for Pochettino, after the sacking of Mourinho, he said we'd have had to pay around £32 million in compensation, because Pochettino did initially sign a 5-year contract with Tottenham, I think, in the summer of 2018, worth around £8.5 million a year. But yeah, I think, there's a lot of talks now about him, possibly, becoming Manchester United's next manager. If Pochettino obviously was to be recommended in, he would be our fifth permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. But I'm very, very sceptical anywhere that Man United, will sack Solskjaer. Definitely not at this present time, because I think, the board, Havashardi will be back in the next couple of windows. Also, Ed Woodward, don't forget, recently assured that his job is safe. And Solskjaer now does insist he's the right manager for Manchester United. He insists he's the right manager for Man United. Despite the fact, that we've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for over 30 years. So Solskjaer still believes he can take this team forward. Solskjaer has got a 3-year contract with the football club. Don't forget, he signed this 3-year contract when he got the job permanently in March earlier on this year. I'm very sceptical about him seeing his 3-year contract out, but I do believe, well, I can assure definitely that Solskjaer will be here at the end of the season. But, to be fair, we have seen to rejuvenate ourselves recently. It still doesn't really change my perceptions regarding Solskjaer. Like I've said on numerous occasions, if we can keep this good run of form up until January at least, or if we can keep this good run of form up until the end of the season, then I actually do believe my perceptions will start changing, and I may believe he's the right man to elevate Manchester United forward. But recently we have done really, really well. I've seen a variety of changes. Players have stepped up to the plate. Recently we've scored more goals. We scored 3 against Brighton just before the international break. We scored 3 against Partizan Belgrade. We scored 3 against Norwich. We've also seemed to be creating more chances recently, and that's been an element of concern this season, because in the vast majority of the games this season, analysing it, we have been struggling to create chances, and this is probably the explanation where we haven't been scoring enough goals. We've also seen a lot of tactical flexibility, and that's one of the that's good, but obviously that's initially one of the element of concerns I was speaking about early on this season about, Solskjaer's tactics, because for the vast majority of this season, he's actually now been tactically naive. Some of his substitutions have been questionable. And obviously, some of our bad performances this season, definitely Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is accountable for that. So in that aspect, he does have to take some responsibility. But you can't only put all the blame on Solskjaer. And I did recently say, didn't I? Even though we've rejuvenated ourselves recently, I still believe we need to see a variety of changes at the football club. I think we need to get rid of our current board, because I think the board have been a liability for several years. I also think, we need to get rid of Ed Woodward, because I believe he replicates the board. I still believe, these more players that definitely need to leave Manchester United, because, these still players here that are no longer good enough to represent the football club. But a lot of players, did leave the football club during the course of the summer. And a lot of our, vast majority of our players that left obviously went to Italy. So Italy, was a very popular destination for the vast majority of our players during the summer. So I think, the problematic players at the football club are Ashley Young. I think Rojo, Jones, Matic, Lingard, you could say maybe. I think, they're all the problematic players at the football club and that. So we should, consider, moving them on. And that. So yeah, we need to see a variety of changes at the club. I think we also need to get a new director of footballing, because I did pinpoint out, didn't I, that that's one of the structural changes that we do need at the football club. And it was a shame that we didn't get a director of footballing during the course of the summer. There was quite a few former Manchester United players linked with that role. There was Ferdinand, Darren Fletcher, Patrice Evra linked with a role. Obviously, Edwin van der Sar was linked with a role, but now he's out of the equation, because he's just not too long ago signed a contract extension now with Ajax. But I said if we were to get a director of football in the future, then it would be beneficial to recommend someone who knows the traditions of the club, someone who knows the club inside out, like I've just said, someone who would be reliable to obviously our transfer business, and someone who's obviously got the right philosophy for the club, so they can recruit the right calibre players and that. But we won't get one in at the moment anywhere. And Solskjaer did recently insist anywhere not too long ago that he's defending our club's current structure, and he doesn't believe we need a new director of football in. This is what he does currently believe in that. And I think, we need, if we are to be back to being a competitive elite level football club, and if we are to be future title contenders, I think we need at least 5 to 6 more signings. Maybe we maybe even need more than that, to be quite monetary. But it's good that Solskjaer is making plans for next year. He's already making plans for the January transfer window. I do believe we're orchestrating on spending a substantial amount on recruiting new players in next year. Allegedly, reports came out not too long ago saying that Solskjaer is only going to be given around £200 million to spend in January and next summer. Obviously, these question marks regarding that is £200 million enough for us to address all the deficiencies in the squad. Is it enough for us to get the number of players that we do want in? But for my perception on that is that, with £200 million, we could probably get around 3 or 4 players in. We got 3 players in for just under £150 million during the summer. Because we got obviously Daniel James in for around 18 million, and Wan-Bissaka in for around 50 million, and Harry Maguire for around 80 million pounds. And they've all enjoyed fantastic starts to their Manchester United careers. But next year we've definitely got to address more of the problematic areas. We definitely need 2 midfielders. I think we need an attacking midfielder. We also need a defensive midfielder. We also need at least 1 striker. A lot of people are saying we need 2 strikers. But I think Solskjaer's orchestrating on bringing 2 strikers in to the football club. But we definitely got to recruit a replacement for Romelu Lukaku and Alexis Sanchez, because you can say we've looked very exposed in that attacking line. For the vast majority of this season, since their departures. Even though that Rashford's recently rejuvenated himself, since Martial's come back from injury. You know, he's added more inspiration in that attack of third in the pitch. But it's good that Martial's obviously he plays now, because obviously he helps the likes of Daniel, James and Rashford in that attack of third in the pitch. But we've definitely not got to get at least one striker in, someone who can create chances, a prolific goal scorer, someone who can obviously be more effective in the box. And I think, you know, we also need a right winger. I don't think it's as much as a priority as getting a midfielder or striker in, but it would be beneficial if we could recommend right winger in. And maybe there's certain other areas in the squad that I do need to be addressed, as you all know. But definitely our recruitment has got to improve. Obviously with us not being in Champions League football, you can say it's going to be hard for us to attract players to the elite level. Obviously there was a prime example that during the course of the summer. But I did initially say, didn't I, at the start of this season, that our expectations this season will be to finish in that top four and perhaps maybe win some silverware. But we need to get in that top four so we can, you know, get into the Champions League and that. I do believe that the expectations are too high for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but I'm very, very sceptical that we are going to get the top four this season. We're currently sitting around, as it stands at the moment, around 9 or 10 points behind top four. So it's going to be hard, you know, for us to currently get it. I did say our only route to Champions League football is to for next season is to progress in the Europa League, and the positive is that we are in the Europa League knockout stages. You know, we've still 2 games remaining, and I think, you know, we're still good enough, you know, of course, to currently win the Europa League. But I think our aspirations will be that top 4 in the next couple of seasons, definitely. At least that can, if we can achieve that, at least it can, you know, create as a platform and give us something to build on. But we won't be title contenders at least for the next couple of years. It's dependent on if we can get the right calibre players to Man United in the next couple of transfer windows. Definitely, that's very, very imperative. But, you know, there's still a lot of Man United fans demanding Solskjaer out, obviously. You know, there's still certain Man United fans that are saying, you know, that we should still back him, because he is still in the process of rebuilding this Man United team. Because analysing the vast majority of this team, it isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. You know, taking into account at the moment, there's only 3 players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, and that's obviously, you know, the ones he brought in during the summer. The vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's, because Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players into the football club. Now Solskjaer is still inheriting the vast majority of them. And I think Solskjaer did reveal out not too long ago that he was considering changing his transfer strategy next year. But I think he did say during the summer he wanted to recruit young players. You know, in that aspect he replicates Alex Ferguson, because, you know, Ferguson did develop a lot of young players, controlled a lot of the transfer policies, also controlled a lot of the contracts and that. But I hope, you know, somewhere along the line that Solskjaer, you know, can invoke Ferguson's legacy to save him at Man United. I hope so. I'm very sceptical about it, don't get me wrong. Initially, Ferguson transformed Solskjaer into a winner. But I think regardless of who our manager is anyway, I don't think, you know, we'll ever be, you know, we'll never replicate, you know, what we did under Alex Ferguson. I can, you know, definitely assure that, definitely. But we'll see what happens, you know, next year. So, as you saw on my recent videos that I did do yesterday, obviously give you the preview for the Sheffield United Man United game. Also, you know, give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference he did yesterday. That is, obviously interpreted, you know, some of the stuff he had mentioned, you know, throughout his press conference. Like I said, he praised Mourinho. He obviously spoken about Pochettino, and also, you know, provided us with some team news for the game against Sheffield United tomorrow. It is only the game tomorrow, by the way. It is 4:30 kick-off, but it is a game, of course, that Manchester United do need to win. The good news is that players are now coming back. More players are now recovering from injury. Solskjaer did confirm throughout the press conference that Nemanja Matic, Tuanzebe and Luke Shaw are all back in training. I don't know if they're fully match fit, but they are back in training. Matic has obviously been out with a minor problem. Luke Shaw has been out with a hamstring injury. He hasn't played since the 2-1 home defeat to Crystal Palace. and also Tuanzebe's been out with a hip injury, and he hasn't played since the 1-0 defeat to Newcastle. So they're all back. He said Solskjaer did confirm that Marcos Rojo's injured. Obviously, Bailly, Dalot and Fosu Mensah, they're all back in training, but they're trained away from the rest of them in the squad. Bailly's been out with a knee injury. Fosu Mensah's been out, I think, with a knee injury. Diego Dalot, I think, has been out with a leg injury. He's actually sustained quite a few injuries this season, as Diego Dalot. Solskjaer did confirm as well that Paul Pogba's obviously still out with injury. Obviously, he's still out with injury. As I did say to you guys yesterday, there was reports emerging out saying that Paul Pogba is expected to be out for another 3 weeks with this ankle injury. But Solskjaer didn't initially say anywhere that he's not expected back until December. But now he says he'll be missing the games against City and Tottenham, which is obviously very, very bad news. But yeah, his injury is severe, is Paul Pogba's. And obviously, as I updated you the other week, Paul Pogba had travelled to Amsterdam to have his ankle cast removed and that. So that did indicate how he was closer to recovering, was Pogba. But yeah, definitely he will not be playing tomorrow. Paul Pogba has been big missing that midfield, and I still believe that Pogba does want out of Manchester United. I think he wants to leave the club next year. Well, recent reports did say he's still desperate to quit Man United. So basically, he's got the same perception, as what he had during the summer, because he wanted to leave for the entirety of the summer. Don't forget, he was relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. There was also talks about him possibly making a return back to Turin. But now I'm reading recent reports, and it did say Paul Pogba's preference is to make a return back to Turin, because Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus and that. His vast majority of his performances at Man United have been totally comparison, to his performances at Juventus. But Solskjaer still knows deep down how much of an imperative player he is. More than likely, Real Madrid will reignite their interest next year. But I did give you the reason why Paul Pogba didn't make the move to Real Madrid in the summer. It was obviously reflecting on the substantial amount we put on him, because we wanted around 180 million. Obviously, Real Madrid were reluctant to pay that. So we was basically demanding over double than what we initially paid for Pogba back in 2016, because we did pay £8 to £9 million for him. Obviously, he is our most expensive signing. And Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his current contract with the club, with an option to extend by a further year. And he is on 290 grand a week, so in that aspect, he is one of the highest paid players at the football club. But I still believe he wants out. But regardless whether Paul Pogba stays or goes, we still need to address that midfield, because we've got to initially recruit a replacement for Ander Herrera. Solskjaer did provide us some news regarding McTominay, and McTominay is out until Christmas reportedly. So Solskjaer did say he's expected to be out for at least another couple of weeks. McTominay's injury replicates Paul Pogba's, because it's the same injury, because obviously McTominay's got an ankle injury that he initially sustained in the 3-0 win against Partizan Belgrade. But the injury recurred in the 3-1 win against Brighton just before the international break. During the international break, McTominay withdrawn from the Scotland squad. He had initial scans on his ankle to find the extent of the injury, and the injury is quite severe. But like I did say, McTominay has been a revelation this season for Man United. His performances have been very, very good. And I still don't know if he's a long-term solution for Man United, so I have got element of concerns about that. But to be fair, he has done really, really well. And he has been a consistent start this season, but he has deserved to keep his players in the team. But yeah, we have still got quite a few injuries. But to be fair, Fred's recently, rejuvenated himself. He's taken, well, Solskjaer did confirm that he would full Paul Pogba's position for a while. And mainly, I've got the same perception on Fred of what I've got of McTominay, basically. I still don't know if Fred's a long-term solution for Man United. I don't think he's settled in fully yet, but I think the club, should be eligible, eligible enough, to give him more time, because he's only been at the club since last summer, because we paid around, £50 million for Fred, or was it just under £50 million? And we know he hasn't performed to the standards as we should expect from him. He hasn't replicated at Man United, mainly, what he did do at Shakhtar Donetsk, because analysing him at Shakhtar Donetsk, he was an exceptional player, but fair play to Fred and that. But yeah, so Sheffield United is going to be a really tough game. It's our 13th game in the Premier League. It's actually, like I said, our first visit to Bramall Lane for 13 years. Like I said, Sheffield United themselves have been a revelation this season. They're sitting, I think, around 50s in the Premier League now. But they've been a revelation this season, and they've done really well of Sheffield United under Chris Wilder's guidance. They've all done really well. But Chris Wilder is now into his 4th season at Sheffield United. He joined them in 2016. Chris Wilder has managed various clubs before. Obviously, he's emulated himself up. Obviously began his managerial career with Alfred Town. Also then went to manage Halifax. I think then went to manage Northampton Town. Also managed Oxford United for several years. It was Northampton Town several years, sorry. And then he managed Oxford, and now obviously he's at Sheffield United. And some people do believe that he actually would be the right candidate at Manchester United, but I'm very sceptical about Chris Wilder leaving Sheffield United. But it is, going to be a very good game, But we've been in good form recently. We've won 5 of our last 6 games in all competitions. I think Sheffield United are unbeaten in their last 5. More than likely, Solskjaer will stick with the 4-2-3-1 formation tomorrow. He has been going with that formation on a regular basis this season. Obviously, he's tried a few, different elements in that, to try and turn his managerial tenure around, which he has done. He's tried a couple of different formations. Don't forget in the games against Liverpool and Norwich and the Partizan Belgrade game, he went, Norwich went with a 4-2-3-1. I think he went with 3 at the back in the game against Liverpool and Partizan Belgrade, and I think we'd look to see him better, with 3 at the back. But yeah, so he will probably go away with that 4-2-3-1 formation. Young, I do presume, will be playing in this game because he's been playing regularly this season. I don't know why, but he has done. He didn't play in the Brighton game before the international break. Obviously now due to a suspension, so he will be playing tomorrow. I should presume. He will be playing tomorrow, I should presume. But, I am, really looking forward to the game. But, yeah, it's a must-win game for Man United. And I still believe, anyway, that, Solskjaer, he's definitely under pressure at the football club. I don't think he's under not serious, intense pressure. I think the pressure has eased off him a little bit, reflecting on our good run of form recently. But reflecting back before the Liverpool game, Solskjaer, was under intense pressure and that. And obviously, if we did decide to sack him anywhere, obviously we'd have to pay something in compensation. We probably wouldn't pay as much as we did to get rid of Jose Mourinho, but we'd obviously we'd have to pay something. But Man United are still backing him in that. It could be something to do with him being a club legend, because obviously disregarding him being a club legend and that, maybe the board wouldn't have softened their stance as much. But I think the games against Liverpool and Norwich, you could arguably say, they've saved his, his tenure at the football club. But obviously Solskjaer anyway wants to bring that winning mentality and that fear factor anyway back to Manchester United, because we know none that's been there since the Alex Ferguson era. But overall, Solskjaer's been here now for around 11 months, so he has been here just under a year. He's been permanent manager for around 8 months. Obviously, for the vast majority of that 8 months, it has all gone wrong. Totally comparison to what I saw, when Solskjaer first came in as interim manager. Obviously, he was interim manager for 3 months, and he went really well in that 3-month period. He went really well in that 3-month period. But, like I said, there's some aspects of me that I do credit him. I've got some element of concerns about him, like I said. He hasn't really got that managerial experience to the highest level, you can say. That's an element of concern. Doesn't mean he won't succeed at Man United, but as a manager now, he's totally comparison to as he was as a player, because I thought he had that proven pedigree as a player, like I've mentioned on numerous occasions and that. But it wouldn't solve any problems, if we did get rid of Solskjaer now anywhere. I think we've also got a lot of young players in the squad that are developing and trying to improve at Man United. We've also got a lot of experienced players in the squad. But yeah, and I did say, I've got some element of concerns about, some of the young upcoming players. I think, we need to consider getting rid of some of them next year. But I can definitely assure that Mason Greenwood, Tuanzebe, Brandon Williams, I think they'll all become successes at the club. With Brandon Williams, he's done really, really well. He's been a revelation. And I did say if he could keep the consistency up, he would more first team promotions at Man United, which he has done, Brandon Williams. He did well on his full Premier League debut for the football club in a 3-1 win against Brighton. And you've got to say now that the left-back's been confirmed, Brandon Williams to me is a better solution than Luke Shaw. Despite the fact that Luke Shaw's our first choice left back, is a much better solution than Ashley Young, and he has been absolutely fantastic. With Mason Greenwood though, he's not yet. I don't think he's yet started a game from the start in the Premier League. I think he needs to get given a start from the start in the Premier League and that. Mason Greenwood, he's only 18 years of age. But I think as he develops more, and by the time he's 23, 24, I think, he will be a world-class centre forward for Man United. But he's also an option on that right-hand side, But in the games he's played this season, he's done well. He's scored 3 senior goals for the football club this season as Mason Greenwood. And I think eventually he will overcome Rashford. He will eventually, become a better goal scorer than Rashford. So, we will see what happens about that. And Tuanzebe in the games he's played in this season, he's also, done really, really well. And take into account as well that his versatility is very, very good. My overarching view on Andres Pereira, he needs to be given more time at the club. He's had a few bad games this season. He's had a good couple of games. He's obviously been operating in that playmaker's role this season, but he has actually been a regular starter as Andres Pereira. But Solskjaer has got a lot of trustworthy these young upcoming players and that, which is obviously very, very good. But yeah, we definitely need to get rid of some of them next year. We need to get rid of them, some of them next year, definitely in that. But like I said, Solskjaer recently, drawn an 8-man list of 8-man transfer list of long-term targets. Obviously, Ed Woodward has actually promised Galactico signings at Man United, but I said it's not always about overpaying for players. It's not always about spending a bigger. It's not always about getting them Galactico players, because it doesn't always guarantee you success, and that's been proven with Man United in the last 6 or 7 years or so. So I've told you our 2 main priority targets. And that's Erling Haaland from Red Bull Salzburg and Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. Now, reportedly, they're on our agenda. We're going for them in January. Reportedly, they're going to cost the club in the region of around £200 million, which is obviously now a substantial amount, especially on 2 young upcoming players and that. But I think they'd both be the right calibre players for Man United, because I recently gave you the news, didn't I, regarding Erling Haaland. It did say that his father, not too long ago, had visited Manchester United's training ground, so that had fueled more speculation. Solskjaer's actually determined to recommend Erling Haaland in, because obviously, he knows about the player quite well. He played under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance during his period with Mould, so I think Solskjaer is keen on a reunion with the player. And I said, disregarding Jadon Sancho alone is going to cost us in the excess of around between 75 to 85 million pounds. He is only 19 years of age. Erling Haaland scored just under 30 goals this season, and I think in around 18 games in all competitions. So he has been a revelation this season for Red Bull Salzburg. And I think he'd complement our attacking line really, really well. So I'd love him to come to Man United. Like I said regarding Jadon Sancho, I think he would be the right calibre player for Man United. I'd love him, to come in to the football club. He's primarily right winger is Jadon Sancho. You can also play him centrally, but he is primarily right winner. Like I said, Jadon Sancho's been at Borussia Dortmund a couple of years. He's in his third season now, but at the moment he's enjoying a difficult time. But analyse his performances in the couple of years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown. Because take into account, Borussia Dortmund basically got Jadon Sancho for next to no. They only paid around £7 or £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. But since his arrival in Germany, he's been an absolute revelation, as Jadon Sancho. And he's still under contract with Dortmund until 2022. But he recently revealed that he wants to leave Dortmund next summer. So if we are to get him, it could be more imminent that we get him next summer rather than January. But it hasn't only been Man United in for him. Liverpool have been in for him, PSG, Real Madrid have been in for Jadon Sancho. But we are aware, he's going to cost us in the excess of around £100 million. Obviously, we've been long admirers of the player anyway, because we was in for him in the summer. We also identified him as our number one priority target back in January. But I'd love him to come to the football club. Jadon Sancho and that. And, the couple of years he had with City, he didn't really get a short first team opportunity. So this is the main factor reason why he left Manchester City. So they are our two main priority targets. Also, Moussa Dembele is on our agenda. We was tentatively linked to him in the summer. So what I mean in that aspect is he isn't one of our main priority targets and that. But, we inquired about his services. He's one of the players on our agenda. Moussa Dembele is an out-and-out number 9. He's a player that can create chances. His runs on and off the ball are very, very good. And he's a prolific goal scorer. And I think the beneficial thing about us recommending Moussa Dembele is that, he has played in the Premier League. He began his senior career with Fulham, left Fulham, then obviously had a good couple of years in Scotland with Celtic. And what he's done at them teams, he's now replicating that with Lyon. And I think if he comes to Man United, he can replicate what he's done with all them teams. Lyon only paid around £20 million for him from Celtic last summer. He is only the age of 23. He did turn 23 not too long ago, but he has done really, really well. So he's another player on our agenda. We've got quite a few midfielders on our agenda. I did recently give you the news regarding Bruno Fernandes. He was actually not our main priority target during the course of the summer transfer window, but obviously we didn't end up getting him because we couldn't come to an agreement on a fee with Sporting Lisbon for Bruno Fernandes. But reportedly now Sporting Lisbon are obviously looking to raise funds to clear their debt off of around £57 million. So we've been given a boost in our pursuit of Bruno Fernandes, and we could go for the player in January. So yeah, he's going to cost us in the excess of around £65 million. Bruno Fernandes is predominantly an attacking midfielder. But yeah, him himself's been a revelation since his arrival in Portugal back in 2017. He obviously spent the entirety of his career in Italy when he was younger, with Sampdoria, Udinese and Novara. And he is now, 25 years of age, so he's still, he's actually nearly in his prime and that. But Man United were in for him during the summer. Tottenham were in for him. Liverpool inquired about him. I think also City were in for Bruno Fernandes at one point. But I'd love him at Manchester United. We're still in for James Maddison. He's been on our agenda reportedly since June. He's been on our agenda since June. Mario Mandzukic, I think it's, what I've read anyway, I think it's very, very imminent, that we're going to sign him in January. I was reading reports the other week and it did say if we could reach an informal agreement with Juventus before January, then you know, Mario Mandzukic could start training with Man United in December. This is what, you know, it had basically said, because Mario Mandzukic anyway now is served his 2 requirements at Juventus. He's now into his 5th season with Juventus, but I admire him because he's had a fantastic career. I think if he came to Man United, he'd deliver the goods. He could be very effective in the box. He's actually never played in the Premier League so far, you know, in his career. But my only element of concern I've got about us recommending him in is that, you know, he hasn't. His age. It's his age. He's 33 years of age. But the good news is he is a cheap solution. You know, we'd only have to pay around just over £10 million for his services. For Juventus, he has scored 44 goals in 162 games in all competitions. But I don't think he's played under Maurizio Sarri's guidance this season. So he could arguably say he could be our first signing in January and our 4th signing overall under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. So yeah, you know, we've got a hell of a lot of players on our agenda, and you know, the players I've just mentioned to you guys, I think, you know, all of them, or if not all of them, the vast majority of them would be the right calibre players for Man United, you know, definitely. But a hell of a lot of money's been invested into the football club in the last 6 or 7 years. You know, you've got around 700 or 800 million pounds that's been spent. An estimated guess it's something like that anywhere. That's in all the managerial eras, you know, since the Alex Ferguson era. And, you know, we've also got players on big contracts at the football club, you know. But we know, reflect on the size, the potential of this club and the money that's been invested into this club over the years, we should be in a much more better position, you know, than we're in, because we know we are one of the biggest clubs in the world. We are the most successful team in England, you know, historically, reflecting on, you know, the amount of titles we've won. We've won 20 league titles, we've won 13 Premier Leagues, you know, we're 7 all the first divisions and all that. But there's still plenty of time to turn things around, because it is obviously a long process, definitely. But, you know, we haven't got the structure anywhere to keep sacking managers. Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era, and, you know, so we don't want to keep sacking managers, definitely. But yeah, and that's mainly everything to update you. So, do you think, you know, Mauricio Pochettino would be the right candidate to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Man United? I do want to know in your comments below. The only way we're going to get Pochettino is if the club do decide to sack Solskjaer. But Pochettino probably could end up going to Munich, or he could, you know, even go to Arsenal. I don't know. There's a few teams, you know, he could go in for, you know, like Kylian said. So yeah, I presume I will be doing match reaction tomorrow after the Sheffield United game and that. So join me for that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.